Okay.
All right. Okay. All right, good evening, everyone. I want to call this Thursday, February 8th, 2024 Committee of the Whole Finance meeting to order.
Courthouse, no.
We'll begin with the roll call. Rodney Riley is here. Ryan Curry.
Here.
Ryan Schneider.
Here.
Dave Wiltsey.
Here.
Ray Larson.
Here.
Brett Mueller.
Here.
Tom Wahlberg.
Here.
Elisa Patterson.
Here.
Dana Logston is going to be absent. Sherry Branson.
Here.
Carl Johnson.
Bell's on.
Here we go. Marion Thornberry.
Here.
4 bells. All right.
Coming up for more,
We have a quorum.
more credit or what?
Exactly. All right. We don't have any votes tonight, so let's move on to approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? By Mr. Schneider, second by Ms. Branson. Any discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Anybody for public comment tonight? Mailed in, right? No. All right, presentation, sorry, Mr. Mueller, your meeting, go ahead.
All right, moving on to 6.1 treasurer. Please.
You already. This is good.
Good evening, everyone. January was a pretty good January. The big news for January was that we pay our insurance bill, our property and liability coverage, which is over $1 million. And that is the story of the fund balances going down for January. If you want to flip back to, well, the next page, cash and investment balances, you'll see now that the Tort Immunity Fund, which pays for the insurances, has a negative balance of $1.2 million. So it'll be negative until probably we get pretty near through the year, and gradually the property tax distributions replenish that fund. Otherwise, it was pretty good January. As far as the investments are concerned, that the interest rates have pretty much leveled off. The smart people are telling us that they'll probably be stable for at least a few more months. So looking, back on the summary page, the weighted average rate and the weighted average maturity have not changed at all since last month. What I am trying to do gradually is keep when CDs mature to reinvest them. We have a ladder that goes out. It's a solid 2 years, and we reinvest those CDs that mature. And while generally speaking, the new CDs are earning a higher rate than the CDs that had matured, we're also spending down the liquid money that we have, which is earning the highest rate. So those two things kind of balance out in terms of stabilizing the interest rate that we're receiving. I guess that's all I had. In other news, the audit is underway. The auditors will be here tomorrow to start their field work. We have been working on an accounting manual, and I will steal Becky's thunder, so I'll let her tell you about that. But we've got an accounting manual now that's going to change as soon as we implement the Tyler software. And so Whipley is going to take that manual and use that to create a policy for this board to approve. So that will in and of itself take some time to create that policy. The policy is much more, what was the word she used?
Standardized.
Well, it's going to include, statutory language and everything to make sure that it's in conformance, so that we have a policy that conforms with all the federal regulations with regard to the grants we get and all that sort of thing. So that's all the news that's fit to print in the treasurer's office. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Kurt? One question. The other night, we were up at the Boone Township meeting. What fund would that have come out of, where you transferred the money into there?
Okay, so that
I mean, I know it's an advance on
Right.
there.
So Boone Township is running out of money. I gave them an advance on their property tax distribution. There is a separate general ledger for the tax collection side of things. That's not part of these reports at all. Okay. There's a significant amount of money there. It's been there ever since I became treasurer 15 years ago. And so none of these county funds
Okay.
were impacted by that.
All right. Like I said, I was just curious on where and so forth.
Right.
It's Kurt. Questions, moving on to 6.2, Becky. Ms. Tobin, sorry.
You're fine. Okay, you have the financial report for January 2024. So we are already 2 months into our fiscal year 24 budget. Most notably, probably that, can't remember if the sheriff brought this up or not, but we actually have federal prisoners again. We did not budget for any federal prisoners, so this is revenue that we were not anticipating. And hopefully that will continue to increase. Is there 7 right now?
7, correct.
7, okay. So far, we brought in a little over $4,000, but that should continue, I'm assuming. So that's a good thing that we were not
What are they
in.
here for?
Pardon?
How long do you expect the prisoners to be here for? Is this short term, long term?
There's a couple that are on hold for a trial over at the federal courthouse in Winnebago. It just depends on, that was supposed to go at the end of January. Like most jury trials, it gets postponed, so that was postponed. So there's a few that are here on that, so it just depends on when that trial goes, so.
Gotcha.
Postponed.
My apologies for interrupting.
Okay.
A little overzealous this evening.
Yep, revenues are trending at or above budget. Expenses are about right where they should be. Your ARPA, we have spent almost $3 million, just about 28%. And there is about 7.4 million remaining balance plus the interest. And again, this balance does not take into account for items that you've already authorized to spend that just haven't occurred yet. So entertain any questions?
Questions for Becky? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business, 7.1. Motion to approve resolution 24-4, authorizing use of the Office of State's Attorney Appellate Prosecutor at the cost of $22,000.
So second.
Moved by Mr. Curry, second by Mr. Wiltsey. Discussion.
State's attorney on the line by any chance?
I am. So this is a resolution that the appellate prosecutor asks us to have you pass, authorizing them to represent Boone County. It's on appeals, conflict cases, and this year they're adding the appeals of the Pretrial Fairness Act. They divide the costs throughout the counties of Illinois. Our portion this year is $22,000. Based on the return in value we get, it is a good bargain for all the work that they do for our office. So I'd ask that you pass this. It is a budgeted item. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Smith? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Sure. Randy Riley, yes.
Just be a voice.
Can be a voice
Committee.
vote, but if
Can be a voice vote. All right.
it's up to you. What do you want? Voice vote's fine.
Voice vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hi.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Thank you.
7.2, motion to approve resolution 24-05, sale of surplus property. 03-26-128-030.
So moved.
Mr. Newport.
I'll move it. I second.
Oh, sorry. Mr. Curry moved, Mr. Larson second. Discussion.
Okay.
Newport.
Just a little explanation on this one. This isn't actually a sale. It's a reconveyance back to the previous property owner. And he's paying us pretty near $2,000. He's paying off the entire tax sale certificate, the taxes, penalties, and costs that were due. This is property owner was participating in a payment plan with Joseph E. Meyer. It had been going on for several months. So per the terms of their contract, Joseph E. Meyer was allowed to take that to its conclusion. So this will be the last resolution that we see that comes to us from Joseph E. Meyer. Any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Any questions for Mr. Newport? All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Moving on to 7.3, motion to approve ordinance -03 for property tax abatement of the alternate bond series 2015A. Motion by Mr. Larson, second by Mr. Schneider. Discussion? Becky?
Yeah. This is a resolution that you see every year. This just is required so that no taxes are levied to pay your bonds. So this ordinance ensures that there are no taxes for this and that it's coming out of your own revenue sources.
Okay. Any questions from Ms. Tobin? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion to approve the solar subscription agreement for landfill number 2 as presented.
Moved.
Moved by Mr. Curry, second by Mr. Schneider. Discussion, Ms. Tobin?
Good, yep. So Community Solar is the company that Amoresco uses to provide the energy from the solar farms. So this is an agreement that as the county will be a user of the energy, this is an agreement that we would need with them in order for them to provide that service. I included a couple documents. One just kind of explains the Community Solar with Illinois Shines, the program. And you'll notice this one I think I attached is for the public safety building. We have a document for each of our facilities and for each of our contracts with ComEd. So the total savings, we'll be saving 10%. It comes back, it's done in a form of a credit. But we'll be saving 10% off our cost of energy on each of our facilities, which will come to an estimated $15,550. So, and this is a year agreement. We have to do this annually. And you won't see the McKinley property on here yet because there wasn't enough usage. But for next year, anticipating that there will be more usage, we'll be able to add the McKinley properties to this.
Any other discussion?
It's awesome.
Yeah. Do we need a roll call vote on this or no? So all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Moving on to 7.5, discussion on architect RFQ and potential building projects. Becky?
So I just wanted to update you that the RFQ is complete and it was sent out on Monday. So it went to 8 different architectural firms. I've already heard back from a few that said that they will be participating and sending in a proposal. I've also heard back from a couple that said they will not, they don't have time. They're busy, they have other projects going on. So I'm hopeful that we're at least going to get a few. I guess one of my suggestions would be that maybe 2 or 3 once we get them back and open them, if there were 3 board members that would want to sit in on those interviews, that would be wonderful. And that's something we can, that would be my suggestion. And then I wasn't sure if you would want to have a meeting specifically just to talk about these projects, how much, I think at some point, the board will need to determine how much they want to spend. I think that's going to be a big question for the architect, even to help figure out, projects and size and capacity is the board figuring out how much they're willing to spend on this and what they want to do.
Okay, Mr. Johnson.
I think the idea of special meeting to discuss that is an excellent idea because it's such a broad topic that's going to take a long time to go through. I also don't think it's a bad idea if, as you move down that road or you start to prepare that a little more, you get a advisory ad hoc committee together to kind of guide it a little deeper. Just my personal thought.
I agree.
Like a building committee.
Right.
Some sort, yeah.
But just for everybody to start thinking about whether you're interested in that. And as we progress along in this, I don't think we need any answers right away, but between your time and and the efforts it's going to take to do this one, let me know if you're interested or not. Email's fine.
Sorry.
Yeah, Ms. Branson.
No, she can go first.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do we want to start looking at potential dates that you would want to have a meeting? Would you want to do it the week we don't have a meeting, at last week in February, or would you rather look at a different date? Or did you, I don't know how far out you wanted to go.
What date were you talking? What date did you say?
I thought perhaps I'm sorry, did I say March?
No.
The last week in,
Thursday of February.
last week of February, yeah.
I know I'll be out of town that last week of February.
I'll be in Texas that week.
Okay, I know that's a popular week to do things because we don't have a meeting the last week of the month.
There's 5 Thursdays.
Oh, there is.
What about the fourth one? No?
22nd.
We got ad hoc then.
I'm out of town.
Oh, yeah. One of those weird months where we get a lot.
Start maybe the week of the 4th through the 8th of March. Remembering that we already have a meeting for the 7th, which is Thursday.
We don't have to do it on Thursday.
No, I'm just saying, no.
Yeah.
Why can't we do it on the 29th?
I know I'll be out of town.
But that's on the 27th.
What's the 27th?
We have an ad hoc.
Wednesday.
When's your chili?
Oh.
22nd?
Yeah, but I know Sherry and I
Second,
will
yes.
be out of town that week.
On the 29th.
27th, 29th, that
Oh,
whole
got it,
weekend,
got it.
that whole last week. I'll be
I'll be
gone.
gone the
Sorry.
19th through the 24th. Sorry, misunderstood. That's okay.
Branson.
29th's okay with me.
On a side note, when we're looking at these buildings, I think it's important that we also do our due diligence. And I know I brought it up before, but we do have the space in the jail that's not really being utilized. And I don't know how feasible or if it's feasible at all for that matter. But I think it is important that we look and we consider if we can use space that we've already bought and paid for in any way, shape or form before we spend millions on another project. So I would kind of like to get some of us to go through and tour the space, talk to some people that do building and find out if they can retrofit it for another use, like maybe put the public defender up there or even storage for some of our stuff or something.
Go ahead, Peg.
And that may have been an option, but I think now that there's federal prisoners coming back in the jail, I think there's a lot of unknowns as to what that's going to look like. I'm not sure the sheriff might be able to touch on that.
No, I talked to Sherry earlier, just get a hold of me and if you want to take a look at it, feel free, any board member wants to see the open space and corrections, just get a hold of me and I will set something up with it.
Just makes sense to me to try and save money if we can. And if we can find a way to use it efficiently, we maybe put in a separate door so that you're not, coming through the jail itself to get into the jail. Maybe it's doable. Maybe it's a place for the public defenders so that they're right there by their clients or right there by the courthouse or something. I don't know. Until we look at it, we don't really know.
Go ahead, Mr. Riley.
Real quick, Sheriff, I think the state correctional is going to have a weigh in on that too, aren't they? Are we under any, what jail space can be used for? Or am I way off base here? It's been a long time, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would be a major, it's not just adding steps, by no means, this would be a major construction.
It may not be feasible at all. I'm just saying we need to do our homework.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
I think the biggest issue on the courthouse is security. Changes you may want to make may not meet with the security that is needed to protect the public from the people that are there.
Yes, Mr. Kerr.
Make a motion to set the date for, Carl, when are you out of town?
The whole last week of February.
So leave from the 3rd to the 29th.
I'll be traveling back on the 1st.
And you leave on that Thursday?
I'll be leaving either the night of the 26th or the morning of the 27th.
And Sherry?
I leave the 18th and return the 25th.
Okay, so that one is a conundrum.
Yep.
I was gonna say
Into
that.
March, Ryan, no matter how we look at it.
Make a motion for Tuesday, March 5th.
Second.
There's a second by Mr.
We need to have, is that a special board meeting then?
Yeah.
Yes.
We just want, we have to publish it 24 hours prior, correct?
48.
48 hours?
You can make it a special committee meeting rather than a board.
Right, yeah.
Well,
If it's a special committee meeting, I don't think you have to have people sign, correct? If it's a board meeting, then you have to have people sign, but you can set up a special committee meeting without having a bunch of people sign.
What do you want, Ryan? You
I'm for that.
want a committee meeting or do you want a board meeting?
Yeah.
Committee?
He's fine.
Any,
All right,
More informal.
6 o'clock?
Yeah, sounds great.
6:30.
So March 4th?
6 o'clock?
6:30.
All right.
On the 5th.
Good March 5th.
5th, right?
March 5th,
5th.
What time?
6 o'clock.
1800.
And by then we'll have received the RFQ proposals and started to go through those. And maybe at that meeting, then we can also establish who would like to participate in the interviews or be part of the building. I don't want to use the word ad hoc anymore. Part of the building.
yeah.
Task force.
I guess.
Task force.
Sooner than later, then over the next week, interest, information, and so we can start working on that process from there.
Discussion?
All right, yeah, finish the motion though.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. You got a motion to have a committee meeting on March 5th or 4th?
5th.
5th
5th?
at 6 o'clock.
Curry made a motion. Mr. Wahlberg seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Mr.
Still have the other thing out though, if you want to finish talking about the other topic, don't we? We still have the discussion on the, oh, it's just discussion. Never mind.
Just discussion. Okay, yeah.
Go ahead.
Other thing I was going to bring up is we are meeting with myself, the sheriff, the coroner, health department, EMA are meeting with Ringland Johnson tomorrow to go through the other buildings out there. And they're hopefully going to help us put together some specs so we can try and do the design build for that project out there. So we're working on that, but we meet out there tomorrow.
Any other discussion? All right. Turn it back over to you.
Anything else for finance?
That's it.
All right, correspondence, 10.1. Actually, old business, we have none. Intergovernmental reports and updates, we have none. So 10.1 correspondence. BAC annual reports on the board doc, so. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay. UCCI advocacy groups, anything on that?
No.
Okay, we do not have a need for an executive session tonight, so I'm looking for one more motion. Mr.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Wiltsey, seconded by Mr. Wahlberg. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Motion carries. We are adjourned at 6:26 PM.
That's what I'm talking about.
A record.
Never had a meeting then.
Yeehaw.
You're actually gonna go.